Hey, fantastic. Good morning, everybody. It's fantastic to see so many familiar faces and some new faces as well. Welcome to our conference this year. And thank you to Newcastle Muscle team who suggested the topic and have been instrumental in putting it together and making me slightly nervous. I'm used to putting together conferences where we'll have individual speakers presenting, but the suggestion this year was to use case studies. And there was almost a chance at one stage that we were going to have patients here. But we're not doing that. We have got case studies where hopefully it's going to be a bit more interactive. We've got a busy morning. There's lots to get through, so we'll do our best to keep things to time. Hopefully you've already discovered way out that way. There's no planned drills, so if there is an alarm, in an orderly manner, we'll all exit. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Toilets are that way. I think this is a really ambitious program to get through. It's a massive topic, and we're doing our best to cover it as best we can. So bear with us through that. We've got an interactive question method, which Scott is going to tell us how it works. Is that right, Scott? Because I don't know.
Good morning, everyone. For those of you who've been to FORF conferences before, we've used this software for the last couple of years. It's really simple. If you can get your phones out and type in slido.com, so that's slido.com, there will be a little text box where you can put the code FORF 2020 in. And when you do this, you'll be able to ask a question and type a question, and your question will pop up on the screen here. As Paul said, we have a really busy program this morning. And so we try to use the questions that we receive in to help us get through the discussions and question session at the end of the program. So if I flick through here, you will see this is the little text box that comes up for 2020, and then type a question in. If you can keep your phones on silent as well, it means that we're not disturbing anyone during the presentations. On this system, you can upvote questions. So if you see a question, you think that's a really good idea, I would like to know more about that, please do upvote that, and we'll prioritize those questions when we're asking the speakers. Okay?
That's great. Thank you very much, Scott. Okay, so our first speaker today is Dion Moat, who I'd like to invite to the podium. And Dion is a research physiotherapist with the muscle team here at the Centre for Life, and is going to give us an overview of common neuromuscular conditions and current themes, I hope.
Is there a little thingy for the slides? Clicker, that's the word. Is that it there? Is that the clicker?
Oh, sorry, it is.
Thank you.
Scott, have it.
Okay. Can I look at that? Jas is already taking photos. Thanks, Jas. So my name's Dion Moat. I'm a clinical specialist physiotherapist with the John Walton Muscular Dystrophy Research Centre here in Newcastle. I work with children and adults with muscle wasting conditions, and I work in a clinical capacity but also in a research capacity, working into clinical trials, and as our team starting to try and develop some of our own research ideas as well. So we do a lot of joint clinics, a weekly clinic with the orthotists from Peacocks, and we run these clinics as a specialist MDT clinic, providing orthotic input for patients in the Newcastle area as well. And today I'm just going to give you a bit of a whistle-stop tour, an overview of some of the common neuromuscular conditions that we see in our orthotics clinics, and a brief overview of some of the management that we use for these patients. So today what we're going to do, I'm going to briefly define what a neuromuscular disorder is. a bit of an overview of the most commonly seen conditions in clinic, and we'll talk a little bit about the clinical characteristics and some of the main issues, problems, management that we use for these patients. And then I will touch a little bit on how we evaluate any intervention that we give these patients. So what is a neuromuscular disorder? So it's a condition caused by a problem in the lower motor neuron, and it can be along any part of the lower motor pathway. So we deal with neuromuscular conditions, and they are rare, acquired, inherited conditions, and they're due to a mutation in a gene causing a problem with the lower motor neuron. So you can see here, these are the different types of neuromuscular disorders that you might see. It can be a problem with the muscle itself, so it can be a problem with the actual structure of the muscle. And these conditions include Duchenne, Becker, so a disorder of the muscle. You can also get problems with the neuromuscular junction, and in this area, this would give rise to conditions such as congenital myasthenic syndrome, so fatigable weakness. And here we're looking at either a problem with the release, the uptake, or the breakdown of a neurotransmitter, acetylcholine, and this leads to fatigable weakness. And they're a very specific group of patients. You can have a problem in the anterior horn cell itself, and that would give rise to conditions such as SMA, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And in SMA, you see the problems associated with an anterior horn cell problem, such as weakness, atrophy, fasciculations, reduced or absent reflexes as well. The other group of neuromuscular conditions that we see are problems with the peripheral nerves, and I'm going to leave that to Geeta to discuss a little bit later on. So there are lots and lots and lots of neuromuscular conditions, over 400. And in the time that I've got available today, I can only touch on a few of them. Even if I had the whole day, I wouldn't be able to tell you much about them because there are so many. Caused by over 1,000 different genetic mutations, with new ones being discovered all of the time. It's an exciting time for neuromuscular disease, but unfortunately we're still in a position where there's no known cure for any of these conditions. But there are certainly promising therapies and treatments emerging that are showing positive signs for slowing the progression of these diseases, and my colleague Anna will tell us a bit more about that in the next talk. So this is quite an old slide, but it just gives an idea of kind of the spread, the prevalence of some of the conditions that we see. And it's probably changed a little bit now in terms of, you can see at the bottom it says 25% of them were undiagnosed. However, we know